Hello, welcome back to Dumb Thumbs FPV. So today's episode is of various different subjects that have been off the top, just things that have been on my mind that I want to get off my chest. I'm going to leave an index down below so you can just skip over the stuff you're not interested in, get to the stuff you are. I want to talk about the Rapidfire again from Immersion RC. I'm not trying to pick on them. I just kind of got a theory of why the Rapidfire, the technology that's used in the Rapidfire might not be an overall solution for most people, especially people who are just, buying bind and fly quadcopters off of Banggood, GearBest, and so on and so forth. And then I also want to show you how to make a logo for it, how to make a splash screen for it. It's very, very simple to do. If you have a Windows operating system, you can use the Paint program that comes with Windows. I'm going to show you how to do that. I want to talk about fanboys. What is a fanboy and how they're a corrosive part of our hobby? And right now, we really can't afford that. We cannot afford to have people fighting with one another over something as stupid as products or manufacturers. We kind of all need to kind of get together a little bit here because we have regulators right now that are trying to get rid of us. They're going to get rid of us out of the airspace. There's no doubt about it. We do not have a body out there that can lobby Congress, the House of Representatives, to help protect us. I know a lot of people are going to say the AMA, but I'm gonna delve into that later on in the video. So join me on the bench. I'm going to show you how to make your own splash screen, your own logo, and I'll come back and I'll talk about these other subjects. All right, guys. So we're back to the rapid fire here. How to make your own personalized splash screen here. So what you want to do is, first thing, let's just get this out of the way. So you want to go to Immersion RC's website, as you can see here. You go to products, go to the Rapidfire, go to firmware and downloads, download the Rapidfire updater, and install that on your computer, okay? And then what you want to do next is to open up your Paint program that's in Windows. As you can see here, I got the Rapidfire mod or Rapid Fail already on here on mine. You can make it to whatever you want to. So the image you want to make, though, is kind of important, the size. And the size is 128 by 64. And then the resolution, I usually have it at 300. You can do black and white or color. I just went ahead and did color. And then it's simply, you want a black background. So you want to fill this with black background with white lettering. It's that simple. Once you save it, however, you want to make sure to save it as, and sorry about my computer being a little slow here. Okay, so save as. So we're going to save it, and then we're going to put it wherever you typically save stuff. And you want to make sure it's 256 color bitmap, okay? So you just want to select the 256 color bitmap there and then save it. And then once you're done with that, then what you can do is go back to your, open up the Rapidfire updater, and then you want to load in your bitmap. So it says load bitmap right here. You load your bitmap. It's going to ask you where you want to load it from. You select it. And then you can update the firmware. It's going to check the internet what the latest firmware is. And then once you get the okay, then you can just go ahead and just upload it. And it's going to go ahead and upload that splash screen for you. So it's really simple to do. But the biggest thing is I've noticed is I try to do this, I try to do the splash screen in both Paint Shop Pro, and I also try to do it in Photoshop, and it just didn't save it correctly. I found that if I just went through Windows Paint, for some reason it saved the bitmap correctly, and which is fine because it comes with Windows, and I was able to come up with my own. So there you go, guys. It's just that simple. And if you don't like the way it turned out, or if you get a blank screen or something when you first fire up your module, once it's installed in your goggles, it just means the bitmap's incorrect, or you just had the incorrect size. You can go back and just continually flash the firmware over and over and over again. So you can try out different ones, try out different designs if you'd like to. You're not going to hurt the module at all. Okay, so that's how it's done, guys. Okay, so I want to talk about the Rapidfire. delve a little bit deeper. What I'm thinking, what's going on here. The Rapidfire, I understand its technology. I understood it way before I pre-ordered it. I thought it was going to be an excellent product, especially for a reviewer, because a lot of people are looking for that in-flight footage to, judge the camera, judge the VTX performance. And I thought the Rapidfire would help me out with that. The problem with the Rapidfire technology is it requires perfection. Okay. And if you're not going to have perfection, then you're going to get the rolling blackouts. You're going to get problems. Now, you can't, it doesn't automatically step down into mode 2 or mode 1 or legacy mode or whatever the hell. It just simply does rolling blackouts and so on and so forth. That can happen, and it happened to me while you're in mid-flight. So it's kind of a dangerous thing as far as that goes. You don't know if your stuff is 100% compliant until you fly, okay? That becomes a real issue. And that, the problem with that is that nothing's going to be 100%. These are products. These are products that are built for a price point. We're not buying commercial grade. We're not buying military grade. We're not buying aircraft grade. We're buying hobby grade, experimental grade. And so, you're not going to have 100% compliance, 100% perfection. You're just not going to. And that's why you see these stories of saying, guys saying, well, I have that camera and I'm having problems, where the other guy's saying, well, I don't understand, you're full of crap. I have that camera and it works perfectly great, or the OSD or the VTX and so on and so forth. So, with that said, you're kind of taking a crapshoot anytime you want to, buy a bind and fly with the Rapidfire, or your next build with, trying to fly it with the Rapidfire. You could end up saying, going through cameras because they're not, one or two is not compliant or whatever not, or something in there with the video chain is not compliant 100%. And you know what, guys, look, I used to work on an assembly line for 3Com US Robotics, okay? I was one of the operational managers. And here's how it works. When you mass produce these products, they're man-made, they're not going to be perfect. You're dependent on suppliers supplying you with subcomponents as well that might not be perfect. And what typically happens in a commercial application is that you have these things flying off the assembly line. You're going to take a couple of them from each lot, and you're going to do further testing to make sure that they work. Okay. You're not going to test every single one of them. You're going to take just a couple of them from every lot. If they don't test out well, then you pull the whole lot. Okay. And you do further testing just to make sure it wasn't just these couple that you pulled off, or how many, because the whole idea with manufacturers, they're trying to get 100% yield. That means everything that comes off that assembly line, they want it to go into a box. They want to send off to the end user. They want to send it off to the supplier or the vendor. They don't want to throw them away. Okay, that's the worst case scenario. Now, like Intel does it differently. Every chip is tested. AMD does the same thing. Every chip is tested. They design a chip, a CPU, for a certain speed. And when the chip gets to the end of the assembly line, it's tested. If the chip tests to the full speed, it is marked with the full speed, and it gets put in the box and sent off to the end user or to the vendor. If it doesn't, but it tests to a lower speed, then it's just marked with a lower speed. That's how they maximize their yield. And then the ones that fail just go into the recycling bin, and they try to figure out why it failed, whether it was the wafer or the pins or the packaging, whatever it could be, okay? There's a lot of things that go on an assembly line. In our hobby, I don't believe there's a lot of that good QC going on, that quality control. I think a lot of it's just put it in a box and ship it off to you. A lot of manufacturers out there, okay? And if they do any testing, it's like, well, does it turn on? I don't think they fully test this stuff before they give them to us. And so therefore, you're always going to have some kind of inconsistency. And if the Rapidfire needs perfection, then you're going to have problems. And I applaud Immersion RC for trying this, but I mean, they should have thought about that. They should have, and even the Rapidfire module, I mean, that's also being mass produced. I mean, and they're trying to fulfill these orders. And I guess we have a lot 2 finally out now, but I mean, they're trying to fulfill these orders. I mean, how much QC is really taking place? Because some of those units have been bad, because some of us just have had bad units. That would totally explain some things. So that's just something, that's a theory that I have about the Rapidfire, while sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so I want to talk about fanboys. What is a fanboy? What is that? We all know what a fanatic is. A fanatic is somebody who looks at a celebrity or a sports figure and idolizes them. Okay, they idolize them as like a deity, and they think that these people are better than them, better than other humans, so on and so forth. They're fanatical. Okay, it's a psychological disorder actually. We all know, the rational people know that these are just regular people. Yeah, they're good at their craft. They're professionals, but they're regular people otherwise. I mean, they're just like you and me, and sometimes they're even worse off because of fame. And the pressures of fame. They tend to crack, shave their head, and beat their cars with an umbrella and stupid shit like that. So, I mean, to idolize another human being is kind of ridiculous, right? Well, it's even more ridiculous when you have people who idolize products or manufacturers. And we see this stuff all the time. And I think the word fanboy actually came from the gaming world. I think it came from PC versus console players, or Xbox versus PlayStation. We also see it in phones, Apple versus Android, things like that, or Ford versus Chevy here in the United States. It's people that have an emotional attachment to a product or a manufacturer, and they take it extremely personal. It's almost like a form of tribalism, if you will. They take it personal when somebody says, I bought this product and it's an absolute piece of crap. And they don't look at it like, well, okay, a person bought a bad piece of equipment. They say, oh my God, you just attacked my child. It's just crazy. And so I think that's where the boy part, that's the fan part. The boy part, I think, comes in from the lack of the frontal lobe firing on all 8 cylinders. I think the frontal lobe just goes away. They become irrational. Their primal brain takes over, and they just lash out at people emotionally. Okay. And I definitely seen that with the Rapidfire module. When I went to Immersion RC's Facebook page, because I was having problems. I was having problems with my module, and I was trying to figure out why. And I do that typically when I buy stuff for review, or I'm sent stuff for review. If I'm sent something that's not working, then what I will do is I'll contact the manufacturer and say, hey, what's going on here? I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they sent me a bad one with reviewer's luck, right? That's what Bruce from RC Model Review would say, reviewer's luck. And when I went to Immersion RC's Facebook page, I could not believe the toxic attitude that was going on over there. People were attacking customers that were having the same problems I was having. Same thing in RC groups. I honestly couldn't believe it. Calling them stupid. You're using junk. You're buying Banggood junk, so on and so forth. Blaming everything else. That's fanboys for you. Not thinking that, hey, maybe there's a problem with the module here. They're just, they're all hyped up on their hype juice there, and they just become these radical, fanatical people, and they troll people. I mean, they take it so it would almost be like you walking up to their newborn baby and saying, "Why does that baby have a mustache? What is that, Mr. Steele's kid? I mean, what's going on here?" That's how personal they take this stuff, and it's crazy. It's honestly nuts. Um, these are products, guys. I mean, I love Jeeps, right? Okay, there's a prime example. I love Jeeps. Am I a fan of Jeeps? Not really. Am I fanatical about Jeep or Jeeps? No, I actually think that there could be a lot of improvements about Jeeps. I mean, they're underpowered. They ride rough. I mean, they're cool for what they are, but they could be a lot better, right? HGLRC is another one. I have a great working relationship with HGLRC, okay? And I've had one issue with one of their products. That was the F440. I had problems with the pins that connect the ESC to the flight controller. At no time, however, have I ever felt like attacking someone that have had a problem with HGLRC. It's a mass-produced item. It's going to have issues. I mean, it's built for a price point. I don't know how much QC is taking place here. I'm not going to fall on the sword for HGLRC because I have a good working relationship with them and somebody's having a problem with their products. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take it personal. If anything, I'm going to try to help that person get help from HGLRC to get the problem resolved. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's people that have posted pictures of bad solder joints, and they've landed in a mud puddle. You can clearly see that. They got the thing wet and they're out there bitching and hollering because the thing failed on them. I mean, I understand attacking, not attacking, but saying, hey, come on, dude, that's unreasonable. It's beyond reasonable expectations. But to sit there and throw people under the bus in my community, in the hobby, in this little niche community we have is absolutely ridiculous, guys. I mean, seriously, these are mass produced at a price point in China, and they're all made in China. So for the people there on the fans on Immersion RC's Facebook page to say cheap Chinese, it's all cheap Chinese. Let's just be honest. The only thing that's not is DJI. DJI is the only company within our hobby that are actually making commercial grade products. So don't be a fanboy. Don't lose your mind. So the whole thing with fanboyism kind of segues into the FAA and the AMA. What do I mean by that? Well, right now the FAA here in the United States is going rogue. They've already went rogue, and they're trying to do it again. It's not just the FAA. I mean, we have a constitutional crisis right now. The Constitution of the United States was designed by our founding fathers to limit government. It was to completely limit government. It's to be a check and balance to make sure our government doesn't grow so large that it overcomes the people, it overtakes the people's freedoms and liberties. In fact, the Bill of Rights is to guarantee us liberties that cannot be taken away from our federal government or any government, okay? The problem we have right now is we have exactly that happening. We have rogue agencies, these FAA, the FBI, the CIA, the IRS, the NSA, and many, many more, who are trying to get away from congressional oversight, okay? They're trying to ignore Congress, the House of Representatives, the people's house, and do their own thing. And we see a lot of abuses taking place right now. We're in real serious trouble. Now, granted, these abuses are political. A lot of them are political based, but it should scare everybody, because if they can do it to one side, they can do it to everyone, And the FAA is a prime example of that. Is something that we're familiar with. They try to register human beings. I mean, they didn't register pilots, they didn't register aircraft, they registered human beings. And when I seen them doing that, I knew that wasn't legal. I knew that was completely illegal. And it was even worse is that in order to register, they made us sign and agree that we were going to do these things in order to become registered. Well, the old 336 specifically stated in there that they weren't allowed to do that. They weren't allowed to further regulate us, okay, further pass law. So they try to do it through basically a fiat, if you will. And they're doing it again. Okay, they're doing it again. They're trying to get regulations that we have to use certain equipment that will not fit on our racing drones. It won't work. And why are they doing this? Well, it's all under the guise of safety. Okay, it's all under the guise of safety, and to be honest with you, it's partially it is safety, but a lot of it's not. A lot of it really comes down to is they want to give that airspace over to big business, commercial interest, people that have deep pockets, people that can bring bag full of cash to Washington and buy influence. And in order for them to have their stupid delivery drones, which will not work, it'll work just as well as those self-driving cars that are running over pedestrians. I mean, it'll actually be worse because these things will be falling out of the sky when they get bird strikes or they hit a telephone wire or a small cable or anything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to be a problem. It's a joke. It is absolutely a gimmick. But the problem is, in the wake of all of this, we lose our airspace, and that's really what it comes down to. So we can't be backbiting each other and fighting each other. We got to get together. We got to figure out some way to lobby against this, to guarantee our protections are going to remain there under law. The AMA. A lot of people say, well, what about the AMA? Well, you guys, I've been watching the AMA for 3 years now. And I got to be honest with you, I don't think the AMA has our best interest. I really don't. I think they have their best interest. And what do I mean by that? Well, when the FAA went rogue and started registering human beings, it was not the AMA that sued the federal government. It was a realtor that sued the federal and won handedly, easily won. Even the judge laughed at him. I mean, laughed at the FAA completely. And said anything from a frisbee to a football can be considered an aircraft the way this is worded. This is a joke. Um, it was not the AMA. The AMA has been spending membership money not on fighting the AMA and guaranteeing us our airspace, but rather what qualifies as a CBO, a community-based organization. What qualifies to kind of like, why would they do that? They're doing that to corner the market, if you will. That's where they're spending membership money. You know, it's ridiculous trying to reword legislation to guarantee them a place, you know, within commercialism to gain money to make us go to them. That's crony capitalism. They say that they had a video out there. Their president Chad had a video out there that says we have to belong to the AMA in order to stay legal, in order to fit with it, be compliant with the 336. We don't. Congress cannot regulate us into a single business. They can't tell us to go shop at Walmart. They cannot tell us to go shop at Target. They cannot tell us that we have to belong to the AMA. Also, to the AMA, some of the things that they've actually said is, you know, we're fully ready to register new pilots. We're fully ready for training of RC pilots. You know, so you know, it's AMA is a business, guys. It's a business, and as a business, they're looking for more membership money. I mean, if you really broke down the numbers of the AMA, if you really took a look at their past tax records, it's a pretty good cash machine. It really truly is. So are they interested in protecting all of us flying in parks and stuff? Not, yeah, I don't think so. I think they're more interested in their self-serving needs. And I can't blame them. They are a business. So we can't depend on the AMA, guys. We're going to have to come up with something else. So guys, that pretty much ends this video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you found something interesting in it. Please subscribe or give me a thumbs up. Have a great night. And oh, I got the turtle, I got the Cadex turtle, and I also got a TBS Oblivion build coming up next week. Enjoy your night.